afternoon, Tuesday morning, or early Wednesday, depending on where you are. Um, you know, just here we go. And we just in chill mode. Oh, yeah. It's the day after. And it's a tough loss for the Bills. If you're a Bills fan, you already know. That's why I didn't have much good to say about that game last night. I wasn't surprised by the outcome. And but we're gonna talk about some stuff. We're gonna see. So just in chill mode. So we just doing the real quick. Just look at these things real quick. So anyway, it was a tough game last night. If you're a Bills fan, thank you so much. Good to see you. Just coming on real quick. Let me get this thing signed up. How you doing? How you doing? We coming to you live. We about to ready to get it on the side. We about to do this thing. Yes, I got this poll question I got asking, so feel free to get it. We are live today. You can predict the future. You can predict the future. By the way, I'm just adding up to let people don't know that I'm live. So don't be alarmed if you see the thing spinning. It's just because I'm going about. You can't predict the future. I knew that was going to be a tough game last night. If that's what you talked about, I knew that. Hold on. Hold on. We're not done. The Bills ain't done. The Bills are not done. I think that the problem was is that they went into one they got into what we call a one scene mode. They're not done. You got an MVP quarterback. You're not done. But what you are is that you got to find a way to not be so predictable, and you got to find a way to utilize the goods that you have. They're not done. They're not done. Josh Allen just won MVP last year. You're up here acting like he's been morphed into Aaron Rodgers, where he's stoic, like he's a stuffed animal. They got beat by a team that was quick on the ball. There was a couple mistakes in the game, but again, winnable. I agree with you that, but it wasn't him last night. I can't blame it on him. That defense, when Bijan Robinson hit that bust that seam, how can I blame him? If a cat goes an 80-yard on you, how can I hold that against the quarterback? I can't hold Lamar when cats fumble the ball, drop the passes, and you got no defense. How can you find fault? I'm gonna tell you what's the both situations. They need an ego-based coach. You need a coach that understands ego. See, I'll tell you like this. People always said, "Oh, Phil Jackson, all he did was win rank with what he." That the kind of coach that you need understands ego. Gotta have a coach understands ego. Everybody can't coach ego. If you got a guy that's an MVP quality player, you got to win. If you don't win, you're wasting time. That's the problem. So until they get a coach that knows how to coach up on that level, they gonna always come up short. That's just the reality. I can't put that on Josh when his coach ain't mad him up. Same thing with Lamar. His coach ain't mad him up. See, you can say what you want to say about Mike Tomlin, but Mike Tomlin coaches guys up. That's the difference. Bruce Arians got in Tom Brady's behind, coached him up. They got a chip. You got to have the attention to details. That's how you win. If you're attention to details, you're gonna win. If you don't, you're gonna take L's. So I wouldn't call him fraud alert. How can you put? First of all, you could say that you can't say that the Ravens are hurt, but they're in worse shape than we are. Bills are in first place. Bills still 500 team. The Ravens are in trouble. I don't know how you can say that. The Bills ain't gonna morph to the Jets in Miami. So I mean, you're a bit much there. But I will say this: they're not championship worthy, and I do see Kansas City coming. Okay, I tell that this piece of trash is gonna have to go. I don't need no trolls coming on here. 76 years old. And I get why people say what they say. I get what they say. I get what they say. I'm here now. I don't know what you consider an upset. There was no upsets. You they're not that same this year. So I wish you'd watch my videos because if you watch my videos, I talked about both those games last night. And I will be point blank. I don't sugarcoat about my team. I know when Ted used to come in here, he'd be one of the few people that would tell you that I don't sugarcoat about my team. I keep it real. There was no upset. Atlanta is a decent wild card second tier team. Michael Phoenix is real. That defense is real. Atlanta is coming. They're coming. They got Bijan Robinson. They got some players. It's just that they were stuck with that Poochie kicker and they got spanked by Carolina. But overall, that's a team that's coming. That's not a team that's an upset team. That's not like a team that is going to be like Arizona or some flukiness or something that's in the bushes. They can win. As far as Washington goes, they kind of got fat because Jaden Daniels covered a lot of their discrepancies and they won a lot of close games. They should have lost that game last year to Chicago. So Chicago Bears just did this year what they should have done last year. If dude don't get arrogant and cocky and tip that ball off his fingertips, Washington got that touchdown at the end. That was the turn and tail for both teams last year in that game in Washington. This year they got the fumble and they won. So the point is there was no upsets in football. Now in baseball, nobody saw the Seattle Mariners tearing up Toronto Blue Jays. That's the upset. The football, mm-mm. I'm not surprised that Chicago beat Washington because Caleb Williams has been balling. If you've been paying attention, he's been balling. And Atlanta is a dangerous team. Not by me, they weren't. I like to think I picked them to win, but I'm not shocked by the outcome. It's not an upset. It's not an upset. Stop. It's not an upset. Just like when people say Carolina beating Dallas was an upset. It's not an upset. You want to know what an upset is? See, because I think y'all don't get it right about upsets. Upset would have been if the Jets beat somebody. That's an upset. Upset is like if the Cowboys hold a team under 20 points. That's an upset. Really, they ain't no upset. That's not no upset. Atlanta is not a scrub team, and Chicago is not a scrub. I'm not downplaying nothing because I wasn't surprised that the Bills lost. I want them to win every game, but I wasn't surprised that they lost. I think that's what you not understanding. It's not no respect or downplaying nothing because I have respect for Atlanta. And I also know the Bills. Again, if you watch my videos, you'll see what I said. I said the Bills should be 3-3. They should have lost to Baltimore. And the only game that they had that they looked like they was doing anything was against the Jets, but that doesn't count. So I'm being 100. I'm being 100 about it. Okay. They can't stop the run. I've already said that. I think Sean McDermott should be fired. I think the offense is kind of like a one and a half trick pony. They didn't let James Cook go. They want Josh Allen to get his Russell Westbrook on. He gets worn out and fatigued. They don't have a playmaking receiver. See, they don't have things that simplify their game. And they're getting caught. And Sean McDermott doesn't have the vision to push that to the next level. So I am not downplaying nothing. I wasn't caught off guard. I haven't been walking around thinking, oh, the Bills, because they were at once they were 4-0. They didn't beat nobody. They beat New Orleans, and New Orleans is playing. New Orleans ain't all scrub, but they are playing for the Arch Manning Bowl. But they're not all scrubbery. You know, beating the Jets, beating New Orleans, beating Baltimore, beating I forgot who else did they beat. Um, Miami. That mess don't count. Shoot, that don't count. Cause again, you know, I'm not in no like fool's gold. I don't sit around thinking like, oh God, I gotta deal with some idiots coming on here. Trolls got to go. Don't come on here if you're gonna troll and say, you know, It's no downplaying because if you know what your team is, you're not sugarcoating. I don't sugarcoat. I think Josh Allen is playing elite. He's an elite type talent, but I don't think that he's getting elite service. And I think that you comes to a point where you got to make a decision. And I don't know how many more years the Bills are going to be content with, not fulfilling. Now, don't get it twisted. They could still run the table this year too. Play Kansas City, so that again they could. But if they take another beating, what's up? If they take another beating sometime soon, then all bets are off. All right, where you coming from? Thank you. I'm just chilling. All right, what's going on? What's going on? I don't know why people think that you somehow be like like when you tell the facts about how you feel about your team that you can't be honest about them. You know, so you know I think I still say Super Bowl or bust as long as Josh Allen is quarterbacking. But I'm also a firm believer in this. If he don't get it done this year, I don't know how many more years he's gonna have. I'm just keeping it 100. And Mahomes is not gonna let up. And Joe Burrows is breaking down. Lamar's. I'll tell you, you got like a small window. So football's a tricky game. You think that you dissing people, but you're not. Karl Malone and Charles Barkley were two of the greatest players ever. It's a team effort. Sometimes things don't go your way. And I wouldn't. Mahomes is more Steph Curry. He's Steph Curry. He's Steph because he changed the course of the way of the quarterback, and especially for a black quarterback to be as dominant as he is and the stuff that he's done, you got to have that kind of gear. Football's a different sport though, so I can't. But I'm gonna tell you something. I can't compare Josh Allen or Lamar. Let me tell you why I can't do that. Let me tell you why you can't say that, but why I'm gonna say why you're wrong for saying that. Because Karl Malone and Charles Barkley got to the finals. Josh has been to two AFC Championship games. Lamar's been to one. That's not Karl Malone and Barkley. Um, Vic never had the right crew around him. Ronald Cunningham did. Things didn't go his way. That's a whole different thing. They were better quality of teams too. But Vic never had the opportunities like that. Again, to say that you got to understand the complexities of what was going on. But just say that Josh Allen, Lamar, let their careers play out before we go so quick to say that. We don't know how this year will end. I don't think Lamar is going to get much of a hope, but we'll see though. But Mahomes reminds me a lot of Steph though. You know, Vic and Randall, that's a different ball game. It's kind of hard to compare because again, quarterbacking is different. You get them judged if you want to, but it's a different hit than basketball. If Josh Allen has a Karl Malone run, then he will be scary. McNair Cunningham far as what? Quarterback? And I'm going with Randall. But Randall wasn't as smart as McNair. Because if he had been as smart as McNair, he would have been in the top 12, 15 greatest quarterbacks ever. Because McNair overachieved, Randall kind of underachieved, if you asking me. McNair was camped out. Oh, you talking about Steve McNair? I got Donovan McNair mixed up. I got him mixed up. Steve McNair was smarter. Well, no, I will still say that. Steve McNair got more out of his career than Randall did because he did get to that Super Bowl. And he was strong, but he didn't have Randall Cunningham's skill set, but he was smart. I don't think Randall Cunningham utilized everything. And Randall was going by a lot of physicality. So I stand what I say, though. I'll take Steve McNair. Randall was more talented, but that don't mean that you better. See, Steve McNair got that Super runner up, and he did a lot with less. We do because let me break it down like this: NBA does it more than anybody. NFL only does it for quarterbacks. Jerry Rice, Mike Irvin got the same amount of rings, but ain't nobody gonna tell you except for Skip Bayless that Mike Irvin is better than Jerry Rice on this. That's not gonna happen. Even Michael Irvin will tell you that Jerry Rice was better. And they got the same amount of rings. Jerry Rice did go to one more Super Bowl. It like if you ask me who my 5 greatest running backs are: Jim Brown, O.J. Simpson, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Gale Sayers. That's my top 5. Peyton went to won a Super Bowl. No one uses that one way or the other. Brown won titles. Didn't play in a Super Bowl, but he won titles. He was great. OJ was never in a Super Bowl. The Bills stunk a lot, but he was great, just like Barry Sanders. See, it means different things by position and different things. It means totally different things. So it's baseball doesn't really do that. Baseball talks about the team. They don't sit around talking about, oh, so and so got all these rings. That's not really how it goes. Because if you set up and ask somebody who was a greater player out of Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter, all things on the table, the only time they're gonna take a ride. See, it's different, and NBA is the only one that really does that. The NBA has pushed that agenda because they did that to push that with Jordan over Bird and Magic, and then and then all that. Ask yourself this question: did you watch this finals last year with OKC and Indiana? And I know, listen, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander had one of the greatest years ever. But if Tyrese Halliburton is playing at full strength, is it that much of a difference? And I only ask that, and I'm not trying to be funny, but it's a good, legit question. Because great as Shea is, and Shea has had one of the greatest seasons for the ages, but he's still not considered by some to be better than Jokic. He's not considered Giannis gets. So I'm just making a point. I agree to an extent. I think that used to be the best player on the best team wins the title. That's usually how it go in the NBA. Usually. Usually. I didn't say it wasn't better. But what Halliburton meant for the Pacers, if all things are equal, that series did go 7 games. Halliburton got hurt. So it wasn't a lot that was really the differentiating between the two teams. That's my point. See, usually I can tell you watching the NBA from back in the day that if so and so is playing, they win, and then the person that's against them is not on par. Okay. Because when Shaq repeated in LA, All due respect to Reggie Miller. And Iverson got the MVP, but he wasn't on Shaq's level. And Jason Kidd wasn't on Shaq's level when he won the chip. So all things do, you gotta, what's happening? How you doing? So it means different things in different situations. I do. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I think the hardest one to win is baseball. Some would say hockey, but I say baseball, probably hockey, but I think baseball. Because baseball, you can have a stacked team and you might not win jack. Yep. And the reason why I say baseball is hardest is because how many baseball teams did it look like they were going to have a dynasty and then they faded and they were lucky to get one? I.e., the Oakland A's with Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire. It's just not in the cards always. Barry Bonds was so close with the Giants. It's not always in the cards always. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you get better. Well, it meant different things. Hockey, so I think hockey's tough because usually these coaches get fired like with quickness, and now that's starting to rub off in the other sports. Hockey was the one that if you didn't win, they fire your butt. Like when I think about Aaron Boone with the Yankees, do you think that would work with the New York Rangers or New York Islanders? I don't think so. Or the Buffalo Sabres? I don't think so. Oh, you go see the doctor though. So I think that it's different in different sports. I mean, it's held up in different accordance. I mean, Dr. J has Karl Malone in his all-time top 10 players ever. So that's a man who changed the course of basketball. So you can have argument with him. Okay. Mm. Soccer's tough. Um, oh, I watch it. Yeah, I'm good. How you doing? I watch it. It's very athletic and very competitive. And that's why you get a lot of the basketball players, the football, it's a tough sport. It's a tough sport. You got to understand how to volley. You got to be in rhythm. Thank you. Where you coming from today? It's a very athletic sport. I mean, I mainly watch it for World Cup. I don't watch it just too much to be watching the regulars. I watch the World Cup. We're talking about sports, the toughest sport to participate in, and how rings and stuff are valued so much and stuff like that. That's all. It is a lot of running because you gotta be real high. You gotta be real hydrated. You gotta be very athletic, and you and also that sometimes when they flopping and acting, where you think Ginobili to LeBron got it from? Them cats is good. Yeah. And if you want to talk about that poll question I got with Serena Williams' husband came on first take and told Stephen A. Smith that I work with millionaires and billionaires. Basically, you ain't worth the money I use. So shut up about talking about Serena. That's basically what he said. So that's another topic of concern, a contention. Yeah, I saw it. I saw the tape. Yeah, it's on mhm. I don't know what she's done. I just, like I said before, I don't really talk about her personal. I just commend her as one of the greatest athletes I've ever seen. Some people got issue with her. I don't have no issue with her. She grew up to be one of the greatest athletes in any sport ever. So some people got issues with her. Some, I don't know. May not have been. She grew up in a tough area, and she had a lot of people that said a lot of stuff. And sometimes that stuff can fracture you. Yeah. I ain't really thought about talking about Serena except when her husband came in and clapped on Stephen A. I really ain't thought about it. I see her from time to time. Stephen A. was just hating on her because she did the dance with, a Kendrick, and that's on First Take. So yeah, I like Coco Golf, and she speaks her mind too. Hmm. Yep. See what I got. What we got? Hammer. Hammer. He TV show, cartoon, movie. He went diamond. He had hit records, and he was a catchphrase. It was big because he gets more residuals because it's still played to this day, and he owns the copyright. But to sit there and say like you can't touch this wasn't big. I mean, like I said, I don't think you understand. Hammer's record went diamond. Hammer sold records and had hit songs, cartoon show, did films. He was doing TV. Yeah. But if you asking me, you ask me a question, I'm telling you, I think you can't touch this guy that beat. Plus, he had people were doing his dance in the streets. I mean, Hammer was huge. Hammer was huge, y'all. Hammer was huge. I'll be right back. Hold up. All right, I'm back. Hammer was huge because see, he, again, he he was like he came out was talking trash to Michael Jackson. He had too legit to quit. I mean, Hammer was big. Had a strong live show too. Now you ask me who's had longer legs of the two, I'll probably tell you Vanilla Ice. If you go by that logic, I'll say Ice. Because Ice Ice Baby still gets played. He owns the rights to that. So he made the better business move. Why? I don't like talking about stuff like that. But why? I like when we sticking to the topics of conversations. I'm over the sea. That's all that needs to be known. When we do the live chat, remember it says remember to guard your privacy. So that's just. But I think I answered the question though. It's soccer. It's soccer. You don't have American football comes here and basketball. The NBA is actually trying to make us temps. And of course there's golf and there's tennis and then there's cricket and all that. But it's always soccer though. Or football as they call it. Is popular. They get all out for their country and then, and then of course they got the little teams. I'm not that big on all of it though. That's an offshoot of soccer or football, and it is popular, but soccer is still bigger though. But it's close though. And rugby to me is like a waste of nice clothes. That's the way they play it because the jerseys be nice. They do. It's called hot ball. Used to play it back in the neighborhood. Or it's you play hot potato. We did that back in the day. We used to do it all the time, except that you throw a football up in there and you run. Hot ball. That's what we used to call it. Hot ball back in the neighborhood. Hot potato. Yeah. Yeah, I remember you. Been a minute. Mm-hmm. So we used to call it back in the day. Yeah. So let me put it to you like this, right? If you do kickoff and punt returns, that's what hot ball is. You running up against the grain, and you run up against the whole wall. That's what hot ball is. And you get one guy who breaks the touchdown, then you know we used to do that back in the day. So 56% says yes. You come on with your sometimes with your phone or sometimes you have with your computer and you connect. I know. I know. I've had this discussion and some of these cats don't really respect NFL players. And I say, yeah, let 340-pound guys sit on you and you tell me that ain't physical and knocking you out and hitting you all in your rib cages. I think people understand with the helmets and the contact how fast cats go. But rugby's physical too. You can get clothesline. As many as people want to subscribe, they're welcome to. I'm always welcome to taking in new faces, new places, new stories. People want to donate, they can. However they want to stay in touch is fine. I'm on different social media platforms, so however people want to come through, they're welcome to come through. And baseball too, because they think cricket is the. And I say, look, I respect it because you got to bend your knees and how you got to go down. I said, but you don't have to donate, just Um, and I said that the only sport I nearly got into with this dude because he was like going on about his brother played rugby and he was trying to downplay it. And I know where he was going with that. And I said the only sports that you can really say unequivocally, unbiased, is basketball, tennis, and golf. If you want to go that, maybe boxing. But you know what I told him? I said, but we got your butt in music though. And the cat didn't like that. And he said, I said, you can't touch American in music. You can't touch it. So people do get arrogant about that and they don't like to give it up. It cracks me up how they get real smug on you about it. And the ironic thing, yep. Oh yeah, you gotta bend your knees to play that. It's no joke. Cause you can get a tore Achilles, you can you can rupture with that. I'm not saying I ain't saying it ain't tough. That's tough. Cause I was doing some pitching to a cat. I was throwing ball and the cat was like tripping. Yep. Polo ain't no joke. Yeah, you can get clothesline. You gotta be up on that. They do that in America though. That's more posh though. I seen some doing it in California. Get your little polo shirt. Yeah. See, I'm not one to. I'll say it like this, just because I might be more familiar. Like, I'm not saying your stuff ain't tough, but to sit there and act like hitting a baseball is easy is not. I tell these turkeys all the time. Baseball is not only tough, the math don't even make sense because the most you can get is like 300 usually. Yeah. Somebody was gonna ask a question. I don't know what happened. If I had money and time and I was into that, I can respect it, but it's not my thing, but I can respect it. Yeah, some people really want to do that though. It's okay. I admire it, but it's not something that I partake in. But I can watch it from afar. But again, I don't get into the combativeness about my this or that. I don't do that. You ask me who my all-time favorite male tennis players is, it's Roger Federer. Serena in America for women. Tiger for golf, Barry Bonds baseball, But like track and field, Usain Bolt. So I got different faves from all over the world. If you're great, you're great. I don't care where you come from. See what I got. Okay. Okay. Everybody got kind of quiet. If I don't hear anything in another 12 minutes, I'll conclude because I've been on for an hour. Just sort of heads up, I won't be back until Saturday. So if you, if you, I'll have obviously the live ones will be up, but Saturday be the next day. More than likely, I'll be back. Mm. Okay, so let me see this thing I got. So it's been pretty good. I've gotten 6 likes and 9 people took the poll. 56% saying he's right to clap on Stephen A. So yeah. Okay. We'll wait a little bit. See if somebody gonna come in. Okay. Got real quietly, so we're gonna probably, unless I see somebody comes in the next 10 minutes, we'll pretty much call it a day. Been on for an hour. See what I got. way, it's one out. I don't see nobody coming through, so it looks like we're going to have to conclude. I see more people on, but I'm just not getting any message. Best trio? No. Bird, Parrish, and McHale were more complete. Kareem, Magic, and Worthy were complete. Yep. Steph, Clay, and Durant were lethal. I can understand why you would romanticize them because they won 3 chips and what they did, but again, the Bird, Parrish, McHale one hit a little bit harder for me though. That front court was no joke. Yep. Yep, they had Elgin Baylor. Well, you could say Wilt, Jerry West, Gil Goodrich. I mean, that was lethal. So I mean, it's quite a few threesomes that would have been, or Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, because you can make strong cases for those 3. So anyway, yeah. If he leads them, if he leads a young team with Udoka, it doesn't move him as high as it would have had he did it in Phoenix, but it definitely makes him look. Let's just say it puts him it puts him high again because this is a young team of pretty much unknowns, and you got a coach who was close to the ring. So if they do it, it'll be something else. He needs it though, because if he doesn't win, to me he falls behind Jokic and no, not top 10. He'd have to win 2 rings to be top 10 for me now. He'd have to win 2. Unless of course he had a season that he was a league MVP this year, then that would catapult him near top 10. If you're top 10 and you win the ring and you finals MVP, then we can make an interesting case for you. But at this stage, he needs 2 rings, and I don't think he'll get that in Houston. But they were, you know, I don't have him low, but he's like what I would say in that 11 to 17 circle. Yeah, 17, 18. Because the problem that he runs into is that Jokic and Giannis, got credentials, and they're gonna make him almost because his numbers are great, but he almost is obsolete. The Brooklyn Phoenix thing backfired. If this thing doesn't work, it's kind of like a guy that and he can't stay healthy. Well, like I said before, it all depends. But if he wins another ring and he's convincing, he moves up. I mean, his stats speak volumes. I still say he should have stayed in Golden State. I don't care what nobody says. He was unstoppable in Golden State. And you can call it what you want, but he was unstoppable. He never played better ball. He was so relaxed, it was scary in Golden State. Because he's what you call he's like a what I call an air conditioned scorer, air conditioned player. He's so cool that he never exudes. See, if he ever was to go crazy and act like LeBron, I mean act like no, act like um Jordan and Kobe and go for 35, 40, it'd be some of the smoothest you ever saw. But he's too cool for school. He likes to stay in his 27-point range. He likes to stay in his 25, 26 point. He does everything meticulous. He's one of the most meticulous players I've ever seen. For a guy that, hey, I could tell you, he could go 3 or 4 games and go crazy. He never done it. Oh, he would be probably top 7 or 8 because you can't stop the wingspan. And imagine if he was to act like that and add to it. He'd scare some people off, but he would be scary. Well, again, of course, if Iverson had KD's mentality, he'd be scary too. Because then, remember, they both league MVPs. They both went to finals. What have you. Uh, KD's a bit more structured though. So, and if you use KD, the Iverson mentality, you're talking about the offensive game as opposed to his defensive prowess and the fact that he can make stuff happen. Okay. Okay. We gotta get some conversation going because I'm on. Okay. Okay. Like I said, it's getting kind of low in time, so got 10 volts, so that's all good in keeping the lights. The way they doing it, they gonna probably try to get another backup quarterback. They gonna punish him until like week 15 or 16. It'd be something stupid. Yeah. Because they want to teach him a lesson. Like I said before, the coach that has tanked Cleveland's team. Mike Tomlin spoke out about Joe Flacco getting traded to Cincinnati, which makes no sense at all. Why would you start your starting day quarterback to another team to get them a starting quarterback? That's tanking. That's embarrassing. And it sounds like somebody just is lying by the moment. So I don't see why Sanders will probably play. There's a lot of going on. Yeah, well, again, you can't lose those games. Penn State, Penn State got a reputation. So if you gonna be coaching, you better win. You gonna get your butt up out of there. And he's a really good coach. It's just that he's in the wrong place. Yeah, he's a good coach. He just went to Penn State. That's all. You coming behind Joe Pa, and they got expectations for you to win. And if you don't win, you got to go. He can coach. I mean, he did good there. He's winning 10, 11 games, except he lose all those games to Ohio State. And it's like, look, we want to play in the Rose Bowl. We don't want the Fruit of the Loom Bowl. And that's what he was doing. So here to go. No, Belichick's messing up team chemistry because he really wanted to coach in the NFL, and he went to Carolina and he's getting exposed and he looks old and lethargic. And the problem is that, you know, all the naysayers are looking good. So she's one of the problems with him. It looks funny to see him on a college football sidelines, period. Because you can't be that renowned and had all that success, and it's like a dump drop off. It's kind of like the way it used to be in Hollywood, where if you made on the big screen, you didn't go back to TV. Probably did. Psh, it's bad news. It's a bad look. He trying to get relocated somewhere. It is a fall guy. Because the problem is they don't want to come out and say that Belichick done messed up the situation because he has. And the team sucks. They're dreadful. Their offense is bad. Their defense is oof. Always a fall guy. Always a fall guy. Maybe too, because if you know how that goes, Belichick always had a fall guy. But the problem is that he doesn't have that run no more, and You know. Yeah. Takes time. Go ahead. I'm waiting on somebody to say something because feel free. If you got some conversation, let's do it. But yeah, it's pretty obvious with Belichick, though. I mean, it's a disaster. And if I didn't know him, uh, okay, go ahead, throw it on me. Okay, go ahead. Mm. Alex Jones. You talking about that cat that the business thing? Because that's the only Alex Jones I'm thinking of right now. The one that's got to pay all that money back. Yeah, yeah. He's trash. I don't think much about him. That's why he getting hit with bankruptcy left and right. Hmm. Yeah, I didn't think much of him. I thought he was a toad. So, you know, okay. Yeah, that's what his reputation is like. So, okay. I did. I used to watch it. I remember when Smokey Robinson did it too. And it was on Sunday nights. Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, Russell. Thank you. We'll be back next week. I remember Russell. Fat Farm. They used to allow you had to watch shows like that to hear what was going on, and comedians and people were more direct, and people were more direct. That's what it was. It was a different time. It was a different time. Now everything is just compartmentalized. The fit one size fits all. Uh, yep. Different day, different time. That's all I can tell you. It wasn't that long ago, but the technology was that long ago. And you think about it, that's when Facebook was just cracking up, taking over Maine, Twitter X. This is before Instagram, before Snapchat, all that. So, and people changed, Where I lived, I mean, you had everything's going a la carte. First got there was like they was downplaying, so it's different. It changed a lot. Hmm. Okay. All right. I don't touch AI, but what they do is they even tell you with a reference that it's AI. So yeah, I've seen them on music though. I've seen them on all the music ones, and then usually I can cipher because I remember some of the songs they try to do. Okay. AI is everywhere. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. I don't think I'm gonna get a lot more going on. We did get 10 votes out of it, and we got views and things. So yeah. Okay, I think I'll be concluding in a couple minutes. I'll go for 20 because initially it was gonna be like hour and a half to two, but kind of cooled off today. They should. Okay, so we got. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'll be back in about tomorrow's Wednesday, so probably Friday's iffy. Saturday probably for sure. Hmm. Okay. That was kind of a slow day today. So I get it. That's what I got. All right, I don't think there's anybody coming back today, so I think that we gonna call it. I'm gonna call it a day. Appreciate what I did get, but it was kind of like low key today. It's okay. I got it. It's only Tuesday, so I'll be back in a few because no one is talking. I've been sitting here, no one is saying nothing, and I'm gonna give it a go. There's been no conversation. It's been kind of like you know, and so I've been waiting for conversation. They lost to a team. They got beat by a good team last night. Happens. They're not above losing. Not, and it's not like I didn't see it coming. They haven't been able to stop the run. I've been saying the same thing since week one. Still can go because Kansas City is the only team in the AFC that looks legitimately scary. Now, once we get past that, what else you got? We're not sold on Jacksonville. We don't know what the Colts will do. We're not buying the Chargers. The Chargers got lucky because Miami just got lazy and laxed. I'm talking about and they got tore up by Kansas City. I'm talking about in the AFC. I'm talking about the NFC. But Detroit got their hind parts handed to them. Detroit is not the same team they were a year ago, 2 years ago, because they didn't had two games where they got routed. Green Bay and Kansas City tore their cheeks up. Philadelphia's they got the it situation, but they got to get AJ Brown. They got to get on the same page. Their syncopation is off, and they not doing good. No, with Detroit got smashed. We ain't get smashed. We ain't get smashed. We lost 10 point last night. You can say that was a beat. But Detroit Not only do they lose, they got annihilated by Kansas City. Shoot. And then, of course, Green Bay, the first game of the season. We haven't gotten beat like that. We've been able to come back or make games close. No, they got waxed. Royally waxed. And to be honest with you, the Lions, because they doing all that gimmick stuff, that's what hurts them. No, the Ravens situation when Lamar getting hurt, they can't play no defense. Harbaugh looks like he's getting out coached every week. Every week. Derrick Henry fumbling the ball. They don't look good at all. At all. So there's no comparison. You can't compare a team that's 1-5, 6, especially when they're getting beat both sides of the ball. At least with the Bills, Josh Allen puts up points. The Ravens are horrible. Cooper Rush can't even throw the half of his body weight. So they're in trouble. Okay. So that's all I gotta say about that. We got you let Rico Dwan, the running back, talk trash about you, and he put 2 bills on y'all. Oh yeah, we already knew the Cowboys suck. 2, 3, and 1, really? Shoot, you were so bad you got Russell Wilson. You had Russell Wilson thinking he had something left. And the Cowboys look really horrible. Horrible. You won't beat us. You won't beat us. You can't talk trash. Y'all battling the Giants for last place. You can't talk trash. Okay? Talk trash if your team's in first place or close to first. Don't talk trash when you're under 500, even with a tie. If he was another Jim Kelly being somebody's Super Bowls, he's not a Jim Kelly. So please know what you say before you say it. Okay? And he got an MVP over Jim Kelly, but he ain't got no 4 Super Bowls like Jim Kelly. So please know what you say before you say. I wish he was like Jim Kelly, because then we'd be competing in January, February, as opposed to being a casualty in January. He's no Jim Kelly. I wish he were. When he gets to one, then we can make the comparisons. He's not no Jim Kelly. Because the win or lose, Jim Kelly lost, but he was in the show. Josh Allen has not gotten to the show. No, I'm just keeping the facts about the stuff. It's not grumpy. It's just speaking the facts. I don't sugarcoat about my team's shortcomings. You ask me point blank, I don't know if they can beat Kansas City. They got defensive deficiencies, and they are one trick pony on offense. I think you need a better coach. I'm just keeping the facts. You ask me any day, I tell you that about the Bills. Oh, they got a quarterback who's good enough to get to a Super Bowl. It's just the team is not on the same wavelength. And that's some of it's the coach. Everybody's better than Dallas pretty much, except for the scrub teams. Y'all know y'all a second tier team. I mean, stop kidding yourself. If it wasn't for your field goal kicker and some of Dak's passes, your behinds wouldn't even have half the wins you got. Your kicker done saved your butt many a time. How the heck you sound? No, Dallas sucks. I don't think we'd give up no 37 points to New York Giants. 30 to Carolina. Mm, mm-mm. The Cowboys ain't nothing to get excited about. 2, 3, and 1. Okay, they are playing nice. They look good. Like I will give you this. They look really good. against Philly. That was the most vintage Giants team I've seen in ages. That looked like old vintage Giants. But can they keep it up? I don't know. You better hope they not doing good because that means Dallas will be riding the bottom. You better hope they're not. That's where the Cowboys are, though. How do you consider the Falcons team that's a 500 team and the Patriots are 4-2? How are they bad? Do you not keep up with the records in NFL? Do you not keep up with what's going on? How are they bad? I don't think that half of what you know what you talk about is say bad. You act like they down there bottom with the Jets. You act like they bottom down there with Tennessee. You act like they bottom down there with Arizona. Atlanta got a nice young wild card worthy team. In case you don't know, Michael Penix Jr. is legit. They got a nice defense. Aside from that game against Carolina, that team has played pretty good. It's just that Tampa Bay is making a mockery of looking really good because Baker Mayfield is playing out his mind right now. But Atlanta is a legit team. The Patriots are playing, dare I say, enough to be a playoff team. I don't know how good they is because he can play. I seen him when he was in college. He got a nice arm. He just has to work on fundamentals in terms of like taking some off of it within the perimeters. They're 4-2. Get it right. 4-2. And when you're a team that has where they were and you can play like that, they're playing pretty good defense. They're doing enough what they're supposed to do. I didn't say they were Super Bowl worthy. I didn't say they were title contenders, but they're legit. They're legit. Atlanta's not garbage. The Falcons got a nice little squad. I don't know if I'm believing this Carolina thing, but I will say this: Carolina's going to be a tough team if they can run the ball, and if Bryce Young sticks away from turning the ball over and they stay consistent, they got a chance to be a 500 team or close to it. So they're definitely on the way up. And plus, they got 55 different number one draft picks, so they better be better. But Atlanta is legit. Atlanta is legit. New Orleans sucks, but they also self-inflicted. New Orleans really ain't as bad as they lead on. They're just not trying hard because I'm telling you, they're tanking. You tell me, you give them something with a Dallas team. You'll see some results. I've been watching the football. There's parity, and that's the problem. I think that's what's bugging people's heads. There's parity, and that's what's up. All right. I think on that note, I'm gonna close it because it's kind of just. But anyway, I'll be back in a few days. Um, Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments. Appreciate it when it came through. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time.